I could be talking in a normal British accent, and then all of a sudden I'd just go, "Dang it!" And it's like, what's going on?
With the hand movement too.
It doesn't work without the hand movement.
No. It works, right?
It's good to be here, Chris.
Chris Van Vliet.
Van Vliet.
And it's good to see you, Kip Sabian.
Lots of people do that though.
Yeah?
They spell it wrong too, and it really annoys me.
Oh.
Sabian is my favorite one.
Sabian.
Bean. Sabian.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's only now though.
Sabian here, ready.
That's only now, because once you guys start on TV, everyone's going to know your name.
This is true.
Isn't that crazy?
It's pretty true.
We need to point out that you have a black eye. What happened here?
Dang it!
I didn't see you. Nothing happened at Fighter Fest to give you a black eye.
There were about 100 guys, and they all came at me at once. I was defending a small collection of ducklings.
You're a true hero.
I am. No, it was just training hard, and things happen.
So this happened in a wrestling ring?
Yeah, it happened in a wrestling ring.
Well, this is a way better story than like, oh yeah, man, I walked into a light post or something.
Or did I?
Yeah, maybe we're covering for that.
I don't walk into doors at all.
For a lot of people, this is the first time they're hearing you talk. And I think there's people that see you wrestle and go, oh yeah, that guy's got to be American. Are people surprised to find out you're from the UK?
I'm like a Tom Holland of wrestling, I guess.
Yes. I just interviewed Tom Holland, actually, for the new Spider-Man film.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. That's why I was in London. I was telling you that.
Yes, I did not know it was for Tom Holland, though. That's...
Yeah. You got to put this a little bit closer to your face.
Oh, sorry.
There you go, yeah.
There we go.
He does an amazing American accent.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Do you also?
No.
Oh, like his American accent's like perfect. He's also an actor.
The amount of people that have said, hello, Kip, how are you? And I'm like, okay, that's a really good old school London accent. They're like, yeah, you do an American one. I'm like, no. It's really bad, like really bad.
Every British person that does an American accent, they always do something with cheeseburgers. They're like, we'll go eat some cheeseburgers.
That was, again, the exact same British
No,
accent.
that was a British person pretending to be an American.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That sounded like a Canadian.
Yes.
Canadian, see. I did my research for this interview.
Yeah.
Chris.
Chris. I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I mean, your star is certainly on the rise here. It's only been 2 shows.
I know, right?
Which is crazy. We're going to have a 3rd show here. I'm sure the 3rd show will have already happened when this gets posted.
The future.
God, the future.
God.
How much has changed for you, though, over these last couple months?
I mean, moving to the States was probably the biggest change, I guess.
Sure.
It was always something I wanted to do at some point. Even before wrestling, I was always... It was either going to be I wanted to move to Canada, I wanted to move to the United States, or I wanted to become an Aborigine when I was a kid. Because my dad brought me a boomerang home. When he went to so I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And then I found out that you can't, it's not a career path.
No.
So I had to settle for wrestling. But yeah, probably the biggest change is that obviously wrestling wise, it's been kind of a boom for me as well. As you said, a lot of people in the US don't or aren't familiar with my name.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, it's a completely different ball game. But
right.
So for me, it's been more a chance to show sort of the US what I can do.
What's been the biggest change for you personally moving to the U.S.? Because I moved
I
here
love
almost
the
10 years
food.
ago.
The food is the
so
best
many
change.
options.
Like all I will do is talk about and Bang energy drink is my. If you're out there and you want to send a few crates my way, that's fine. I'll accept those. But yeah, Bang energy drink is the one. Monster, there's more Monster. Now there's a war now between energy drinks that I'm kicking off.
Red Bull doesn't fit in there?
Yeah. Red Bull, if you want to contact me too, I'm on the market for this. Let me know and we'll sort out some kind of deal. But probably the energy drinks and the food. The food is definitely the big one for me.
I moved here from Canada 10 years ago and I was blown away by the food options.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have a handful of restaurants in Canada, but you come here and it's like every corner is like every chain restaurant you've ever heard of.
It's this. I was back. It's just sad. The seasoning. The seasoning over here is so much better.
I think it's a lot of salt goes on the food here.
It's fine. As long as
It's not good if you want to be ripped in a wrestling ring.
I
Sodium's shouldn't be part of the diet.
thinking about a change, going into the heavyweight division now.
Like Thor in the most recent movie.
By choice, not by necessity.
That's what you're. Yeah.
That's it. You heard it here, folks. Heard it here, folks.
What does it mean to you that you not only had the first singles match in AEW history, you also have the first singles win in AEW history?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
When you did you know this before the day? Did you know where you were going to be on the card?
So I'd had a bit of liaison about we were going to be on the buy-in. Obviously, to me, that was a real big sort of position to be for the first show.
Yeah.
Because not everyone would have bought the show, but the buy-in is free. So a lot of people were watching that. So I knew that we were going to be on the buy-in. So I was excited because I thought this is a chance to now show what we can do to get other people to buy the product. Plus, in the UK as well, it was on ITV, which is the biggest channel in the UK.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal for me personally on that end. I didn't know that we were going to be closing the buy-in, which then when we were told that, I was, okay, this is the next level now. It's not just a match on it. This is closing that show. This is important. Winning that match too, as I say in every interview I have, is something that no one can ever take away from me. I will always be the first person to win a singles match in AEW for its lengthy. What is? You can tell that I flew in yesterday. This lengthy time. It's the next level of length. It's
Oh my God, that must be a British thing.
It is. It's lengthy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you had to, other than lengthy, have you had to adapt to other American phrases?
Okay, so one that I've randomly started using for no reason. No, I know the reason. I was at a gathering and someone had brought their child along and the child had dropped a pool cue and just went, "Dang it!" And I was like, "That's incredible. That's my new favorite thing I've ever." So all I would do was jokingly start going, "Dang it!" And then now it's become an actual thing where "dang it" is in my vocabulary, which is not good.
Dang it with a British accent.
You can't say it in a British accent, so you can't go, "Dang it," because that just sounds ridiculous. So I could be talking in a normal British accent, and then all of a sudden I'd just go, "Dang it!" And it's like, what's going on?
With the hand movement too.
It doesn't work without the hand movement.
No, we're in northern Florida, so we're pretty much in the South here. There might be people non-ironically saying it all around here.
There's that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. America's such an interesting place to be.
It is. This is what I was saying to you earlier. I'm still from the small island. So to me, every time I go somewhere in the US, it's a new area for me. But to me, prior to moving here, it's the US is the US.
Yes.
Whereas I didn't understand all of the little differences from across the country.
Then there's a lot of them.
I mean, New York, that was my favorite thing too. I enjoyed being in New York when I went to New York, mainly because I've always wanted to go, "I'm walking here." I've always wanted to do that. And
with this.
It's always this. But I got the chance to do it in an actual scenario where it made sense. And it was the best. And then I continued to do it because it turns out cab drivers really like to try and run people over.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. Tom Holland, try me.
If you're having to explain your style to someone who hasn't seen a Kip Sabian match,
There we go.
What match do you tell them to watch?
Oh, the buy-in. No,
that was a great match with Sammy.
it's hard. I think for me, there's been a lot of changes throughout my character and my style throughout the years. Most notably, in the UK, I was a bad guy, and that was kind of the thing that really rose my stock in the UK. Put me on ITV before when they did some wrestling on ITV, and it was because of that character. And then that slowly developed into the character I have now. I guess style-wise, it's very British. I was trained by the Knight family. Saraya Knight being like my head trainer.
Yeah.
Roy, Zach.
This is Paige's family.
Yeah. So I was trained by them in the British style. So I think I take a lot of that realism over to what I do now, but I incorporate it with some high flying here, some strong striking here. I don't know how you'd like. People tend to put me in like a cruiserweight category or a high flyer category, and it's yes, I can fly, but that's not where I think my game ends. It's not like, oh, this is the cruiserweight match. Look at the guys fly around. It's like, that's not what I'd characterize myself in. I think I'm an all round performer. If you want a mic guy, I'll be a mic guy. If you want a brawler, I'll brawl. I mean, I don't look like a brawler.
Well, you got a black eye.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, put it right in there. There it is. We haven't seen a lot of mic work from you, at least not in AEW.
Exactly,
yet.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. And again, like you said, we're 2 shows in.
Yeah.
So there's still so much time to express all of that stuff to the audience. You don't want to give everything away straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm really looking forward to is a chance to talk.
The only people we've really heard on the mic are Jericho and MJF. That's honestly really it.
Oh,
yeah, MJF.
Max.
Yeah, my friend.
What a guy. See, so, okay, he is an arsehole, let's be honest. However, I can't help but enjoy him being an arsehole. And I don't mean it from a, look at him, but it's just funny. If you're watching, Max,
it is.
I'll see you in the locker room.
It's fun to cheer him, but then when you talk to him like, and he's not being a wrestler, you're like, oh, you're just a dick.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Which is enjoyable at times. You kind of have to drone it. Like, invest in a really good pair of headphones. So invest in a pair of headphones that have noise cancelling properties, because it comes in handy. Because then you can have them there. You can laugh at him, you can enjoy what's going on, but when he gets a bit too much, all you've got to do is just you know what I mean? It's very good.
Well, you described the British style of wrestling. How would you say it differs from the American style?
Okay, so the British style is changing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I think now there's almost a hybrid style from the UK, which is kind of incorporating your traditional World of Sport style British wrestling. So a very realistic, grapple-heavy kind of wrestling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Which is what I did when I was training. It's a lot of grappling.
I think for a lot of us, William Regal was a big introduction.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So taking that kind of style, combining it, a lot of the Japanese Puroresu style of wrestling is now very big. And that obviously went over to the UK. You've got the American, which I find the American wrestling, and that's what got me into wrestling. I, as a kid, saw the Hurricane, and I was like, oh my God, he is a wrestler and a superhero. I was a superhero guy. I always liked wrestling as a kid, but I wasn't a mega fan.
Who was your superhero?
Spider-Man, 100%.
Oh, this is all the Tom Holland references.
Dude, Spider-Man is the guy.
Who's the best Spider-Man?
Okay, so I had this conversation, and to me, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man.
Okay.
However, Tobey Maguire was a very good Spider-Man, and a lot of people say that he was the best. This is how I describe it. You can tell that I've been asked this question a lot. Okay, so I think Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker.
Yes.
I think that Andrew Garfield, when he came in, was a better Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always been about wisecracks. And I feel that the Spider-Man from the original 3 movies wasn't as Spider-Man-y as Spider-Man should be. Tom Holland is the perfect combination of the two. Plus, dude can do all the flips and stuff as well. I'd really like to see Tobey Maguire do a flip.
Yeah, the fact that Tom Holland can actually do that stuff
is believable, right?
Yeah. So let's do the same thing with Batman then. Who's the best Batman? Who's the best Bruce Wayne?
George Clooney. No, I'm joking.
Oh God, nobody picks Clooney.
No, I just want to be against the grain, be edgy on this.
You can't pick the nipple Batman.
Oh God. I don't know. I think for me, Keaton maybe.
Okay, I think Keaton might be the best Batman, but I think that Bale is the best Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think with Batman, so I was never a big DC guy. I was always a Marvel guy. And I don't know why, because as a kid, you don't really know the difference between DC and Marvel.
Yeah, it's like they're all superheroes.
But when it comes to DC, I definitely prefer the villains to a degree.
So did you think
Green Goblin's still my favorite villain?
Okay. Did you think Thanos was a great villain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I felt sorry for him at some point.
Yes.
Exactly, right?
Yes.
And how annoying is that?
No, it's great. Because usually in these Marvel films, it's just a bad guy that wants to take over the world or destroy the world.
Yep.
You actually had a reason with Thanos. You're like, oh, I don't like you, but I understand where you're coming from.
And especially like at the spoilers from 2 years ago ahead. Click off. No, don't click off. Please don't click off.
No, there's more stuff coming.
Yeah, there's a lot more. You wait and see. Oh, did you bring the fireworks? Are they here?
Yeah, they're here.
I forgot.
America.
It was at the end of Infinity War when he just sits down. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
You're not really that much of an arsehole, are you? Apart from the fact you've just
No, but he had a reason.
killed 50% of the population.
He had a reason for why he wanted to do that.
I mean, I don't agree with his reasoning, but you can see why he had that reasoning. But
Yeah.
I can't even reveal the most... So I went to see the new Spider-Man movie. I'm not going to give away spoilers. However...
People might be watching this in like the distant future. Though.
Okay.
Let's just do it.
Okay, so...
It's been out for a week and a half, you know? Yeah.
I was reading on...
We've warned you.
Yeah, spoilers ahead. For the next, shall we say, like 60 seconds?
Okay.
60... No. 120 seconds, which is
They're
2 minutes.
watching this because they're wrestling fans.
Okay, sweet.
If they really wanted to see Spider-Man Far From Home, they would have seen it.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
So this is on you, not us.
What's the most annoying part?
So I went through this ranking of Marvel movies the other day.
Yeah.
And it had the best to the worst of Marvel movies, and Spider-Man Far From Home wasn't like super high.
Yeah.
And I was disgusted.
Really?
Because I love that. That was probably my favorite Marvel movie so far, which is...
What?
Yeah, and I will explain exactly why. Tom Holland is really good.
And by the way, there still haven't been any spoilers yet.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm waiting for that. No, so maybe not my favorite. That's a lie. But I'm coming off the back of it, so I think it seems better in my head. However, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And as a Spider-Man fan, it was everything that I wanted from a movie, apart from the end credit scene, where I was really angry for about 3 days. I was more angry... No, I wasn't. I was more angry at Toy Story 4. Went to see that the week after as well. Not happy with that.
Angry?
Yeah.
That movie's incredible.
No. I'm a big Toy Story fan. I still have my 1995 Woody doll that was bought for me.
You would have been like 3 years old.
It's in terrible, terrible condition. But I thought we've now gone to Toy Story. Sorry, Tom. Toy Story 3 for me as a Toy Story fan was the perfect end. I was like, this is great.
Right.
I'm really happy with this end. And then they did a few shorts and I was like, that's cool. You keep the characters going. I felt that the story to try and bring... That's about movies instead of wrestling. Quick buzz through. The story to bring Woody and Bo Peep together was a great idea. However, it had so much filler in between that was just pointless and boring that I just couldn't get along with it. I think Forky was enjoyable as a character. I think the ending really annoyed me because I didn't like the idea of Woody and Buzz being split up after you have Woody deciding that he wants to stay with his family at the end of 3, and then all of a sudden he's so happy to follow his Woody and leave Buzz behind.
But we also saw throughout the film that like he didn't really fit in with this new family.
Yeah, and that's another
So
thing
he
that
wasn't
annoyed
really
me.
going to be missed.
The writers annoyed me on that because Bonnie, I know my name, when she, in the end of 3, when Andy drops the toys off and she sees Woody in the box, she's like, my cowboy. So she clearly has an emotional attachment to her cowboy.
Yeah.
And then this film doesn't seem like it's much time has passed because she looks the exact same age. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to play with this cowboy doll. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. I still have my Woody, so
Well, she got a fork though. Yeah. We still haven't, we still haven't said any spoilers. We've talked a lot about movies here, but one point,
Peter Parker gets revealed as being Spider-Man by J. Jonah Jameson, which was very cool because it's the same J. Jonah Jameson that was in the original movies, which I liked.
Yeah,
but
J.K. Simmons.
But I don't like the idea of having Peter Parker's identity out there when I still think there was more that they could have told before that happened.
I will say this: more happens in that 30-second end credit scene than happens in the entire film.
Oh yeah, especially the second end credit scene too.
Yes,
that was one that I really liked. So, hats off, Marvel.
Would you ever work in some superhero stuff into your ring gear like Johnny Gargano does?
Okay, so I had many an idea to do so. I really wanted to do a Spider-Man sort of styled gear.
Yeah,
but then. I'm very childhood close friends with Will Ospreay, and he made a very big point of a Spider-Man outfit not too long ago. So I was like, I'm going to let that fizzle for a little while.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think I've toyed with different ideas, but I guess it just depends where I'm going character-wise.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
What was Will's reaction when you told him you got signed to AEW?
He was buzzed. Me and Will have been friends for, God, I don't know, I was like 15, so 12 years? Wait, how old am I now? 27. 12 years. So before starting the wrestling, so the real stuff, me and Will would backyard together. I'd get a train down to his house, stay for the whole weekend. We'd watch old school TNA matches. We'd watch a lot of Motor City Machine Guns back so then.
What was your backyard wrestling name?
Okay, so I had a few. So at one point, I wrestled under Jet Kippen. But my original...
your real last name?
J-E-T-T.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the name that I wanted when I first started wrestling.
Jet Kippen.
So I didn't want to be Kip. Because Kip is the name that all of my friends in school, outside, like Kip was my nickname. Kippen being my last name, Kip was just a go-to. So I wanted to be called Jet when I went over to the Knights, and I started training there, and I had my first match, and they're like, what do you want to be called? And I was like, Jet Kippen. And they were like, we've already got a Jet on the roster. And I was like, what? So they were like, well, what do you want your name to be? And I was on the spot, and I was like, because my original name, back when I first started doing fun stuff on the trampoline, pretending to be the Hurricane, was Tidal Wave. And I was basically and I created him on the old wrestling games, and it was basically the Hurricane in blue, and it was Tidal Wave. You know, you better be brave because here comes the tidal. Whatever it was as a kid, you imagine,
that was it.
You're gonna, still in there. Oh no, now Creative are gonna get hold of it. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm on the spot. I don't know what I'm gonna be called. I was like, Ray, you can come up with my name, because Paige was still there at the time. So she just called me Kip. But then they played a joke on me, and I was Kip Jones. Kip Jones was my name for one show, but I didn't know my name. So music hits. I'm like, yeah, that's my music that I picked. And then it's like, entering the ring, Kip Jones. And I'm like, who? That's me. Clapping away, you know. Big blonde fringe, like Captain Scene Kid fringe. Super skinny, luminous gear. Yeah,
I think
those are the days. Kip Jones.
Kip Jones. One match.
Two actually.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
I think it's great that the Hurricane is the person you looked up to, because most people go, oh, it's Rock, it's Austin, just like Jimmy Havoc said, it's Mankind, which makes perfect sense for him.
Yeah, it does.
Or I think he specifically said Mick Foley, but yeah, for you to say Hurricane, that's a really random one.
Yeah, I think it was, again, I was a big superhero fan as a kid, and that's what sparked my interest, but it's very hard to become a superhero in real life.
Batman's just a billionaire.
Yeah, well, I'm not a billionaire, unfortunately.
Tony Khan is. He could be the next Batman. What?
Mind blown. You wait until you see like this superhero flying around Jacksonville. And what would he be called?
I don't know.
Wait. The Jaguars. So he'd be
Oh.
Catman. Is the Jaguar a cat? Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a
of
type of
course.
cat,
Yeah.
isn't it? Catman.
We already got a cat, though. You got Black Panther.
Yeah, but that's...
It was a good idea, though. Yeah, the Jaguar man.
The human jaguar.
I have to say I'm very envious of your hair. I try to do something similar. It just doesn't quite look the same.
Okay, so I got where I would normally get my haircut. That's the most stressful part about moving to the US was getting a new hairdresser. So who would normally cut my hair had no spaces available. So I was like, no, what do I do? They were fully booked up. So I went to a new one that we drove to, and I sat down and they were like, what would you like? And I showed some photos because that's the easiest way. Like advice, if you get a good haircut and you want to keep the good haircut, always take photos. Always.
Oh, so you're showing photos of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I want. And they're like, oh, what about the front? And I'm like, yeah, don't take too much off because I like this bit to be longer.
Yeah.
We sit down, starts cutting away. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, just, and I was like, and I just sat there, and that was one of the hardest moments. I had the same person cut my hair since I was a kid in the UK.
Oh no.
Same person, apart from when I moved for wrestling from Great Yarmouth, Galston, on the little bump, all the way to Leeds, because that was where I had to move to try and break out into wrestling. Then I had 2 years of a different hairdresser, but apart from that, I had the same hairdresser since I was like a kid. And she knows, but
of course.
I think it's because I was so comfortable with her that I could be like, no, stop it. No, I want this. Just because it's...
So you're not a fan of this haircut, is what you're saying?
No. I don't know. We'll see. It's shorter than usual hair.
I would imagine, though, the problem having styled hair when you're wrestling is it only stays styled for, a couple minutes in the match.
You'd be surprised.
I would be surprised.
If you use the correct product.
So tell me.
Okay, so a good product to use it's called Blue Man Cavalier Clay. Now that's a good one.
It's a clay, okay.
Yeah, but all you got to do is just make sure you... So basically I've spoke about movies and hair tips. This is great.
We talked about lots of wrestling.
The man behind the spandex.
Do you do it on dry hair?
Yes, I prefer to do it on dry hair now. I used to use something beforehand, like a pomade on damp hair, and then I'd blow dry it with the pomade, and then I'd put the clay on. But now I just tend to just use the clay. As long as you rub your hands until they're like boiling hot. That sounds real silly, but as long as you rub really hard until they're boiling hot, then you can just move around lightly and then it stays in. And it keeps that matte look as opposed to like a wet.
And then do you hairspray it after?
No
wow.
Need. No need.
That is impressive.
No need.
Hair tips with Kip Sabian.
Sabian. Sabian. With Kip. With Tidal Wave.
We'll get back to wrestling right now. Who was it that reached out to you originally about AEW?
Chris Daniels.
Oh, okay. He's the head of talent relations.
Yeah,
right?
he's and people were. He said in an interview at or to a fan at Vegas about how he'd put in the words, etc. Daniels was really instrumental in everything that happened to me over the last few years. So prior to this, I shared a long car journey with him. And he was a great guy, gave me lots of advice, tips, pointers. That night, it was me versus Chris Ridgway, who's one of my best friends, who's in Japan with Noah at the moment as well, which is great for him, so big love to Chris. It was me and him in the main event, and we were told, do whatever you want. You've got half an hour, have a great time.
Wow.
So we went out there, and it still is one of my favorite matches this day. It was just so much fun. Daniels watched the match. I didn't even know he was going to watch it. He came back. I said, hey, man, have you got any tips, any advice, feedback? Because that's the first thing I'll always ask. If anyone's watched the match, no matter who they are, feedback. Because it's always good to get everyone's opinions on that. And he said, okay, I think you need to get some color in your gear. And I was like, okay, sweet. Now what? And he's like, yeah, that's it. Get on TV. And I was like,
wow.
but come on, it's Christopher Daniels. Please give me like some secret thing that I need to do to finally make it to the top. A few months later, I get a email from him and from Ring of Honor about the UK tour that they did. And they wanted me to come along. I got to wrestle in the International Tournament Cup thing. Can't remember the name of it. International Cup Tournament, something like that. I can't know. It had a cool name. It was a cool name. Sorry about that.
Everyone will be commenting it below. They know. They know what you're talking about.
I did that. I then stayed in contact with Daniels, and then he was the first person who reached out about there be something going on. And then the company got in contact with me direct, and
here you are.
Here I am.
Yeah.
In the US.
Yeah.
Legally in the US too.
Do you have an O1 visa?
I have a P1 visa.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Look at us.
It's the same thing, I guess.
Immigrants talking about how to legally work in this country. Both our colors here.
It was great. They came over to me, and
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I appreciate the shirt you're wearing too. That's a really good shirt.
I know, right? This is from Express.
That's an Express shirt?
Yeah, it is. I was very impressed with this find. I like it. It was Express. I was wearing an Express shirt on the last show, and someone pointed out that they had the same shirt as me. So, skills.
Well, Express and Bang Energy, they're all about this now.
Monster, Red Bull. What else do I like?
Maybe
looking around a hotel room like,
I'll take a lamp sponsor.
Yep. Yeah. I'd love to have a new lamp.
Some hair product sponsor?
Yeah. Blue Man.
And perhaps someone that cuts your hair that you trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reach out in the comments below down here.
The problem is people are going to do this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a really good hairdresser or barber or whatever
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Hit me up in the comments below or on Twitter or somewhere, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, let's get you some more Twitter and Instagram followers. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, okay, so everything is... See, now, I would always say in the UK, the Kip Sabian. And then people would get confused when I was giving them that, saying Z Kip, and they're spelling it.
Okay.
The Kip Sabian. Sabian spelled Sabian.
But pronounced Sabine,
yeah,
of course.
Everything, yes. Twitter, Instagram. I don't really use the Facebook page at all anymore.
But we'll link that up below.
But it'll be there.
I want to be very respectful of your time. I know you got to get out of here. Like, your call time's very soon for Fight for the Fallen.
It certainly is.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time.
No, let's get like a...
Oh, Mega Powers?
Yeah. And then we're going to come in. You've got a really firm handshake.
So do you.
Damn.
That hurt a bit.
A really firm handshake.
I feel like I should have wore this hoodie during the interview. Such a good hoodie. But I didn't know we were going to talk about Spider-Man that much. Also, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet and you were planning to, I hope you paid attention to our spoiler alert. I mean, Kip said, spoiler alert, spoilers ahead. And then we gave out a really big thing that happened in Spider-Man Far From Home. But if you really wanted to see it, like I said, you've probably already seen it by now. I didn't know we were going to talk about Spider-Man that much during the interview. I certainly didn't think we'd be talking about hair products as much as we did. He does have great hair though. And I didn't expect Hurricane to be the wrestler that he talked about when he said that that was the person that inspired him to want to become a wrestler. That's awesome because it's so often The Rock, Stone Cold, Sting, Hogan, Flair, Macho Man, the list goes on and on of those type of people. To hear someone like Hurricane inspire him, I think that's awesome. It also inspires me to want to do an interview with Hurricane. So I think that I should hit up Shane Helms and see if he wants to do this. I mean, I know that Shane Helms has a podcast. You know who else has a podcast? Yeah, you're looking at him. Or if you're listening to this, you're listening to him right now. Yeah, the Chris Van Vliet Show is now available on all the places where you listen to podcasts. I'll put a link below. Thank you to everyone who's been checking this out. I know that it's hard sometimes to watch a YouTube video for the entire length like this one, like 35 minutes. Especially if you want to do other stuff, especially if you want to text people or use Twitter or Instagram and follow me, at Chris Van Vliet while you're doing that. if you don't have YouTube Premium, you can't do both. So I made the audio version available everywhere you can find a podcast. So thank you to everyone who's been checking this out. The podcast is now like 3.5 weeks old. It's crazy to think, but we're now in the top 200 on Apple Podcasts for sports and recreation. So thank you. Yeah, I'm looking right at you. Thank you for that. And we got a bunch more interviews coming up. Scott Steiner and Hornswoggle are going to be at Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum this weekend for a show. So we got those ones lined up. If you have any questions for either Big Papa Pump or for Hornswoggle, let me know. Drop them in the comments below. And thanks as always. You're awesome. You are. You're so awesome. Thank you. And here's another look at the hoodie.